Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tony Hannity from LazyTechGuys.com. We're going to go ahead and go over the mobile news for this past week on Lazy Tech Guys, so let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, there were, I want to go ahead and say about 10 different application updates as well as 10 new applications that we want to talk about. First and foremost, the beginning of the week, 10 billion downloads for Android applications in the Google market. So congratulations, Google. That's really awesome. And if you're an Android user, go ahead and check out your Android market to see what today's day, their day sale for 10-cent applications. You can download Paper Camera, which is a really popular camera application. You could download the World of Goo, I think was also 10 cents. I mean, you're looking at per day 10 apps for 10 cents. So for $1, you could feasibly get 100 new applications for 10 bucks. So not too bad, not too shabby. Also, Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus all got updated on iOS and Android. So go ahead and make sure that you update your applications accordingly. And also, finally, one of the most favorite applications on the iPad is now available on the iPhone, Flipboard. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to go to Android anytime soon. But you know what is? Instagram. So if you're an Instagram fan and you want to have Instagram on your Android device and you can't wait for it, well, it looks like it is coming. The Instagram CEO did say Android is in the near future, and you'll go ahead and see that possibly in the first quarter of next year, or maybe we'll get it for Christmas. You never know. In regards to news, one of the big news updates that came about was actually Eric Schmidt over at Le Web, which was in Paris, France. And basically he was on stage and he said a few things regarding Android and the future of Android. And one of the things that he said was that he predicted that developers would actually write on Android first and then iOS second within about 6 months. This was really the driving factor behind Ice Cream Sandwich, and how Ice Cream Sandwich is going to be a much easier platform to develop for and to write for, considering it is the bridge between phones and tablets. And whereas on iOS, as it is really only two things that are fragmented, the iPad and iPod and iPhones, he said that would be a lot easier. And because of how many Android handsets are out there in the world, they are, well, quote, Android is ahead of the iPhone right now, purely based on activation numbers. He said that developers would do better to write for Android, and they would probably get a little bit more cash out of Android. Personally, the thing about Android is all about quantity, not so much on the side of quality. So we'll see like how Ice Cream Sandwich is in respects to quality applications. For example, Asphalt is a driving application. It looks gorgeous on my iPad too. That same application on a Samsung 10.1, not so clean. Same game, but the engine behind it with the graphics, it doesn't look as nice as it does on the iPad 2. So that's one example between iOS and Android and some of the pros and cons factors behind it. But another thing that Eric Schmidt said was that we should see Google TV and actual built-in TVs in 2012. So I don't know if you guys are planning to buy any new TVs anytime soon, but having all these things built into the TV instead of having to purchase extra peripherals around it, not a big fan of that. I wouldn't mind having to buy an extra peripheral to connect my TV to, because what happens when Google TV gets a software upgrade? Is my TV going to be part of that line to be able to take advantage of that software upgrade? And who do I go to when my apps don't work? Do I talk to Google? Do I talk to Samsung? I guess it's the same thing when the apps don't work on a phone, but I don't know, TVs aren't something that you change up every 2 years. Cell phones and tablets, even computers, they kind of are. So, and also Meg Whitman came out of the woodworks and finally told us what is happening with WebOS. WebOS is not dead. WebOS is still alive and kicking in the sense of going open source. So basically, they couldn't sell it. Nobody wanted it. HP spent a ton of money in purchasing this operating system, and instead of just dropping it, they said, let's give it one last good shot. So going open source basically means the same thing that Android means. This is a free operating system. You can do whatever the heck that you want to do with it. They're not quite sure how they're going to license it in respects to open source, if it's going to have an Apache license or something else. But what's really nice is that HP will go to the development community first, and they're going to ask them, what do you want to do with this operating system? How do you guys want us to license it? How do you guys want to approach this open source, angle, if you will? Compared to Android, where we call it an open source operating system, but there are things on it that aren't. For example, Honeycomb was not an open source platform. It was closed. Up until now, nobody had the source code for Honeycomb. So it's weird that they would, Android being the first, well, not the first, but one of the more prevalent open source operating systems, the big operating system for tablets just wasn't available for developers to take advantage of. So we'll go ahead and see how HP does with this, and see if Samsung is going to get their foot in the game with WebOS, Badu, Android, Windows Phone 7, and if HP's going to, or not HP, but HTC, if they're going to do the same thing. Obviously Motorola's not, because, well, so far it looks like they're going to Google. And then finally, the question that all of you have at the tip of your tongue is, where is the Galaxy Nexus? Well, I have the answer for you right here. Well, that's not right here. I just have the answer for you. Actually, I don't have the answer for you. I really don't know. I was calling around, and with my professional circle of friends, co-workers, other journalists that I talked to, obviously, like I said in the last podcast, we're going to see it before the end of 2011. But with regard to the actual date, my prediction is sometime this week. Now, I've been wrong before, and it's rare when it comes to cell phones. But I have been wrong, and I thought it was supposed to be today on the 11th. But I do predict it to be sometime this week. And if I'm right, you buy me a pony. Whoever you are, you're buying me a pony. You're buying him an ice cream. But yeah, if you're wondering what this phone's all about, it's the first ice cream sandwich phone in the United States. It's Verizon Wireless's first vanilla Android device. Very, very exciting. I've already played with it myself. We have a hands-on review on, I think it came out on Friday. So go ahead and check that out and see what you think about it. That's pretty much about it right now. So leave your comments, questions below in the comment section, or you can connect to us directly on Twitter, Facebook. All of our connection statuses will be on our website, lazytechguys.com. Thanks a lot for playing along, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.